have 3 seconds to try a shot and try to win the game.
This is the Notebook Wagering Podcast.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
Coming to you from the betting deck.
Don't believe what I just saw.
Here are your hosts.
Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable!
What is up? 3-man show today. It's hot in here again. Get that AC working. We're in a studio, but we're in a sauna.
It's the summer.
I love it. It feels like we're outside. It's 90 and smog from the Canadians.
Can Scott come in here and pump some smoke in here?
Just fan me, Scott. Just sit over the side and fan me.
No, we need that Canadian fire to come back in here because Jason, I know, is struggling up there today with that, and
yeah,
it's not great down here again today.
No, it's worse up north. Jason, first off, Smitty and I are live from the Salisbury Center, fueled by Monster Energy. We've got Jason in Pittsburgh for us. What's going on, Jason? Why don't you give us the weather report on the 8s with the smog?
It was crazy today, man. We probably got a good taste of that smoke. I mean, you look out the window, and it looked like it was going to rain, but there's no rain in the forecast. It was like the old days. Felt like it was 1946 Pittsburgh again. You know, have to wear a different clothes to work and then change when you get there because you're all sooted up. And I think the Buccos might be playing at Forbes Field today instead of down on the north side.
I'm shocked that the Pirates are playing. Did you think today?
Well, they said you could exchange tickets. They were going to give you.
That was early in the day.
Yeah.
And I talked to a couple people and they asked me, they were like, "Do you think they're going to play?" And I said, I don't think so by the numbers, because down here when Washington had that, they canceled that one game. New York Yankees canceled that one game also. I'm shocked they're playing, but the Pirates are up 2-0, so keep playing. Maybe the Padres
can't see the ball.
I got them plus 140. I'm loving it. But no, it's like a nostalgia night for Pittsburgh. You know, we throw on the old unis. It's like we're playing back in the old days. If you ever see those pictures of like the Forbes Field when they had the mills going, it looks exactly like that today. So
I love it.
We're used to it.
I love it.
Blood.
It is. It's hot as anything in here right now, man.
Well, why don't we just stay hot? Let's just keep giving out winning picks and staying hot in the MLB.
Hey, let's
we want to hit MLB. At least give your plays out quickly so people can book them. Yeah, there are some late games, say 7 or 8 is what we're looking at, and then you should be able, if we talk about them now, get those plays in. So, Jason, why don't I start with you? Do you have any plays? And we'll start with that. Let's start with your first play, and then we'll kind of bounce around game-wise with that.
Well, I am on my Buccos tonight. I'd like to match up with Keller. And I know Snell's been really good, but the Pirates actually match up well with the pitches that he throws well, and they've had some good history against him. Went with the Phillies. Got Aaron Nola going today against look at he's going for the – but he's another guy.
Drew Smiley is going for the Cubs. Drew Smiley.
You know, the Cubbies don't hit righties nearly as well as they hit lefties, and the Phillies actually take care of lefties. They haven't hit really well this year, but they've been better.
Yeah.
So I got Nola, their best pitcher, going. I'll take him minus 130. And then I took Logan Allen in the Indians against the Royals. Royals kind of started a rookie today. But the Indians don't hit, but they actually hit left-handed pitching halfway decent. So I'm going to take them minus 130.
Can I jump in really quick on that Cleveland game? Because I got on Cleveland this morning here, and Jason, jump in here. Austin Cox is supposed to pitch, but everything I saw, if I'm correct, he's a reliever. So I thought it was going to be like a bullpen starter and then kind of going there. Is that what you're still seeing, or did they change that arm in that game?
No, I'd say it's Cox going, yeah.
So Cox is really good. He has a 0.0 ERA, and if you really look at his stats, he's a pretty good guy here. I went with Cleveland also tonight, Jason. I like Logan Allen, 3.2, 3.68 ERA. I gave out last night a best bet on Cleveland, which that game was 0-0. And I don't know if you guys saw it. It was so Kansas City got the lead. I saw it today. It was a comebacker to the mound, and the pitcher threw it, I don't know, to his dad in the crowd. And missed the guy, and I was like, I was like, man, I'm going to lose a best bet by this. Luckily, Cleveland came in. I think this is great. I got it at minus, let me look at my minus 125. I don't know what it is right now.
It's 40.
What is it?
Sitting minus 140.
140.
Yeah.
So I got it at a really good number this morning. That's why you should always follow me on Twitter.
I took it as well, but I got it at minus 130.
That's
Yeah, I got worse than you too. So it's been going up. You're steaming the right way. So hopefully everybody, all the money's right today.
And the problem with Cleveland is they just can't score.
Yeah, but that's been a problem for years.
I mean,
Every year.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you for our audience, if you can get this, I mean, because Kansas City.
Well, I think you're just taking that team against a Kansas City team.
Well, Kansas City, where are they at? 22-57.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have
They can't win at home.
and Cleveland is now, I think, a half a game or maybe even tied with the Twins because the Twins lost again today, and the Twins can't score at all.
No. It's all
I don't know if
pitching.
it's like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
I don't know if
AL
it's pitching,
Central's
but they
brutal.
can't hit either.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, we're fading the Royals here. I mean, that's been a play all year, is to pretty much either take the other team minus 1.5 or money line.
I did like Brady Singer last night. I thought that was a good play, and kind of disappointed that didn't come through because he's actually been pitching pretty
He's
well.
a good
lately,
pitcher.
so.
He's good. He's a good pitcher.
Isn't he from Florida?
He is.
Okay.
He was at the college.
I was going to mention
Okay,
that.
I was going to say, of course, he's a good pitcher.
Yeah, he's great.
Okay. Now let's keep firing these games out here because I got a lot too. So
I also, why don't we touch on? I had Mitch Keller back to the Pirates over 5.5 Ks. I think he gets there. 13 out of the last 17, he's hit that number. He's actually cruised over it in most of those 13. I took him last start, and he had 5 and needed 5.5, and he's really or 6, and I needed 6.5. He screwed me there, so he owes me one. I hope he's listening in between innings. I also took. I like Lucas Giolito over 6.5 Ks at plus 110. He's got a trend. If he hits an over, if you look at his matchups, he's pitched 13 or 14 times. When he hits over in his previous start, he hits it in 2s and 3s. So he's hit a couple unders. Then his last start was over this number. He had 7. And then he had 10. He had 10. So now I expect him to get it again. I like that. And the Angels strike out a lot. They average over 8 Ks a game offensively. So I like that. And then another game, and we can bounce. Do you guys have anything on the Angels game before I interrupt?
I do not tonight. Okay. That is one that was kind of the pitching matchup is. Let me just.
Jaime Barria versus Giolito. I just saw a stat too. The White Sox opponents bat 309 against them.
Yeah, no, White Sox against righties too on the road. Awful.
Yes.
Barria
throws 220 batting average. Giolito's whip is 1.6. Barria's is 1.05.
The one thing I did write down in my. Go ahead, Jason. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to cut you off.
Barria's best pitch is a slider, and White Sox is like one of the worst teams against sliders. So.
Yeah.
2-2. Barrera 2.14 ERA. Giolito is 5-5, 3.41 ERA. The one note I wrote: keep an eye. The wind is out 8 miles per hour. That was early this morning. Maybe an over in that because again we've talked about that on the show many times. The White Sox bullpen is a little iffy.
Yeah. They give up a ton of runs. All right, another game. I'm trying to make sure we get above the 8 o'clock games. Another one I like the Rays to bounce back today with Zach Eflin on the mound. They're a good team. Arizona's a good team, but I like Eflin in this spot. I think the Rays played pretty well yesterday. I think they bounced back really well. And then I also like, my apologies. I think that was it. No, I had a parlay. I had the Nats, which obviously hit already, and the Rangers. I like the Rangers tonight.
Wow, look at you taking the Nats, homeboy. I like that. Good win today.
Wow.
That was good. Now, I'm on the Rangers. I threw in the Rangers twice today, so let's jump in there. I took Rangers run line.
You know who's pitching for them?
Is that Dunning?
Dane Dunning, yes.
Do you know where he went to college?
Florida, probably.
That's it.
Everybody's going to Florida.
Everybody. I like that.
Against Joey Wentz. Wentz is 1-8, 6.72 ERA. Dunning 6-1, 2.76. That's an 8.05. I did jump on Texas run line. I got it really minus 1.5. So they got to win by 2 for everybody out there. I don't know what the number is now. This was really early this morning.
Rangers are just good.
Minus 110. Yeah, that game last night was really close. and then they really blew it open. I had a run line parlay. I had them in Seattle, which the Nats ruined that last night. So I just stayed off the Nats because the Nats screw me a lot.
They're playing good ball right now, though.
They're doing
They're scrappy.
They're doing okay right now. So I did Texas run line tonight, and I did match up Texas money line parlay, Texas and Baltimore plus the 139. And Baltimore was down 3-0 last time I saw it.
They're up 4-3.
Dude, this game.
And they're still first and second.
Well, the guy for the Reds, Jason, jump on that for me. Help me out here. The guy for the Reds.
Luke Weaver.
Luke Weaver's brutal.
It's because he didn't go to Florida.
Last month.
he didn't
go to Florida.
He's never been in the state of Florida ever, people, so that's why. If you can jump. So let's jump in really fast. Let me hit on this. Jordan Lyles for Kansas City was, I think, 0-15. Kansas City's 0-15. Now, he did just get a win the last time. So you can look at some of these pictures. This guy, Weaver, is not good.
No.
I mean, he's not good. And this Reds team right now is in first place.
They're playing good ball. They got Votto back.
Ball, a lot of good bats. They better add arms. I jumped on like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and I said on the show, I got them at plus 850 to win the division, and now they're in first place, which is looking great. But they better add arms because this guy doesn't have it. So that's why I went with Baltimore tonight. So that is a play for me. I mean, I know you can't jump on it, but Texas, again, run line. Take it tonight because I think they pound the Tigers tonight.
Yeah, Tigers are just a bad team. Jason, that was all of my plays. Do you have any else?
No, I was looking at the over for Dodgers, Colorado. I'm a little scared because the Rockies can't score anymore. But Michael Grove has been pretty rough in his last couple starts. Rockies actually can hit right-handed pitching fairly decently, and the Dodgers kill lefties. So it's a decent matchup. 12.5 is a lot, though. So if it would have came down a little more, I would have thought, it could have worked. But neither team's really scoring a lot. Both offenses are kind of been muted. So that was the only one I was leaning in. And I don't know what to make of the Yankees. I was going to do a Will Hill impression here, right? Because he's always ripping on the Yankees, but they do not look good at all. And Oakland obviously is Oakland. Going against a lefty tonight, they don't really hit lefties all that great, but Oakland can't hit righties. So I kind of stayed away from it, but boy, I wouldn't be shocked if the A's pulled one out there.
So I was kind of looking at that game, and I was leaning JP Sears plus 120 over 5.5 Ks because the Yankees strike out.
I need better than plus 120.
What's that?
I said I need better than 120 for Sears.
Yeah, well,
back him, but
he's 5.5 for the Ks. He's hit like 8 and 10 in his last 2 starts. He's pitched into the 7th both games, and the Yankees they strike out a ton.
Yeah, 26%.
26% is one of the league leaders. I think they're top 10 in offensive strikeouts. So that's a lean as well. I know I'm kind of hot and heavy on this, but Casey Wilson, kind of got me onto this. It seems like that's where consistent money is these pitchers because, like you said, you can't call these games. They're out of control. It's so hard to figure out these teams that show up, they look great, and then they get blown out by a team they have no business doing. And then, some overs tonight. It looks like they're going to be over by the second inning. That never happens in baseball.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, this is a tough sport to handicap. I mean, I love it. Doing well. Like I said last night, I mean, I'm sitting on the couch and my best bet was Cleveland and 0-0. And you're like, how in the world have they not scored against Kansas City? And then it's 1-0 Kansas City, bottom 8th. And you're like, all right, well, I'm going to lose 1-0 to Kansas City. And then luckily they came back. So it's hard. And I've said this, you have to have the mentality of like a reliever. You blow a game, you come back and you load up on your card again. It's hard. Yankees, I'll tell you, I'm going to say it. I'm big on the Yankees tonight.
You like them?
I don't know. Best bet. I'm going to say it right now. Best bet. And I know I listened to Will Hill today, our good friend that has been on the show multiple times, and he was on VSiN this morning, and he said, anytime they're a 4.5, I'm going to throw this out for our audience, he said, take the under and the team runs, because he said they have nobody. And that when Judge is not in there, so why am I doing it tonight? Well, I'm doing it just because I think they come back, they bounce, but it's crazy. I mean, it was like minus 125. If you would have thought a team that is the New York Yankees playing the Possums, like we like to call them, that it was a low number last night, and now it's a low number again tonight. But if you look, the numbers aren't. I'm trying to look for my notes here. Yankees are 27-20 as favorites. Oakland is 21-59 as a dog, and they're 10-29 at home. So I'm taking a shot with the Yankees tonight, late night.
Well, you got Domingo Herman or German, however you pronounce it, on the mound. He's probably their
Domingo
Herman.
Herman.
I mean, he's their number 2.
High 4-5, 5.10 ERA. Sears, JP Sears, 1-5, 4.10. But here's the thing with that: when you look at that, you would think this is like high offense.
Jason's laughing. What did I say wrong?
What did I say wrong?
No. I was laughing because you were saying that Herman is 7.5 FIP over the last month.
Well, he's in a rough patch. He does have good stuff when he's on. I mean, we've seen it over the years. He's just struggling. But bounce back.
So let me say this. You look at those numbers and you're like, over.
Yeah.
It looks like an over.
Everyone's jumping. And I think the number was going down as the under tonight because the Yankees, and if you look at both those teams, the under is in play tonight because they don't score. Another thing with that stadium is it's so big. The foul territory, a lot of balls that in most stadiums would be out of play, they're in play and they're outs and everything like that. So, again, I could be dead wrong on this. I was leaning Cleveland again as my best bet of the day, but I went with the Yankees tonight. So, I mean, I could be dead. And that's hard when you have 2 games and you look as your best bet of the day and you give out other plays and you might win that game, but then you lose it and you're like, But I like the Yankees. I think they bounce back and they take game 2 in this series.
All right, so quick
Yankees.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
250 on base percentage last month. That's what's killing them. They're actually slugging decently. They just can't get it on base. It's all single home runs.
Jason, you look in that lineup and you're like, who are these guys? It kind of goes back to the movie Major League, and they're like, who are these guys? Well,
they don't have anybody. Everybody's hurt.
This guy here's Detmer cross him off.
Guys in the lineup tonight.
It's
the last 4 guys in the lineup tonight is brutal. I don't know who 3 of them are, and it's the Yankees. Usually, you know everybody, right? And you've seen them play before, so they're going through some tough times there. In the Bronx.
And again, I do my plays out on Twitter by 9:30, 10 a.m. So I'm not even looking at a lineup. I'm just going with a read. I think the Yankees win tonight. I could be dead wrong on that, and we move on here. Q, you brought up really quick. I know we're trying to get through these. I really like Tampa. Tampa was another one really close for me as a best bet tonight. This morning, I jumped on Tampa money line. It was minus 150. You're laying a little bit on that, but Zach Davies, I'm sorry. Arizona's a great team, but I just don't like him. I think Tampa Bay comes back and they win tonight. So that was another play for me. If you can still get this game, I don't know where the number is. I got it on my site really early this morning. Team run over Cubs 3.5 minus 115 against the Phillies tonight. If you look, I think it's Nola pitching.
Yes.
If you look at those, he has been some hit or miss in some of his starts. A good arm to get. That's a good number. When I saw that, I was like, wow, I really like this. Some of the stats I look at, I had the Cubs slightly over into the 4-run range for that. So to get it at 3.5, I really like. So I jumped on that. So I don't know what it is now, but
it's 3.5 juiced to minus 130. So it's not too bad.
130. I got it at minus 115. So that's not bad.
No, it's not bad.
That's not bad at all. I'd still play that.
All right, I'm going to give you my quick plays just because we're coming up. People got about 15 minutes to book them. Over 6.5 Lucas Giolito strikeouts, plus 110. I like the Angels to win in that game, minus 130. I did add over 5.5 Ks for JP Sears at plus 120. Don't know who the lineup is for the Yankees. They strike out 26% of the time. A top 10 strikeout team. I like that a lot. And then my parlay, I had the Nats Rangers. I took Cleveland minus 130 like you guys.
Oh, let's jump on
in the
race
race
train. I like it.
That's not good. We need Scott to pick somebody else. I don't like when we're concurrent on a bet.
I don't know.
Scott's taking the Royals.
I'm taking notes, yeah.
Yes, he's going to take the Royals for the team. Jason, why don't you give us ours and we'll end with Smitty?
What's that?
Give me your plays one more time, and then we'll end with Smitty.
Oh, sure. So they got the Phillies minus 140. I got the Indians minus 140. I think, and I'm probably going to jump on that Giolito over Ks. I actually like that. The numbers look pretty good on that one. He's averaging about 10 Ks per 9.
Yeah.
And like you said, the Angels free swinging bunch, probably about 26% K percentage. That makes a lot of sense. So he just has to get deep enough to get that number.
I agree. Smitty?
All right, so this, again, early morning numbers, so I apologize. Check it out. If you think it's moved and you don't like it, then don't play it. One of my favorite plays of the night is the Yankees. Again, I got the Yankees minus 145 this morning. I have Cleveland minus 125, Tampa minus 150. I have a money line parlay, which is in play because Baltimore is in play, but I have Texas and Baltimore plus 139. I have the run line minus 1.5, Texas minus 110, and I have the team run over with the Cubs 3.5 minus 115. And again, these were lines this morning.
All right. Let's move on to College World Series recap.
I was going to try to get you a second to look up the Mexican leg or the.
I don't have it.
Okay.
I didn't have enough time.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't have enough time.
All right, we can move on.
I'll come back next week with a play.
We can move on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't we talk about it, Smitty? We absolutely killed it. I mean, it was great baseball. Well, let's just talk all postseason. So regionals, super regionals, College World Series. I mean, I won over, just in that span alone, I won 26.5 units. So for easy math, if you bet $100, you would have been up $2,600 for the year. Regular season, postseason, into the at the end of the College World Series, up 54.48 units. If you bet $100 every play, it's $5,500. So great stats there. I know you killed it. I know you don't track the units, but you hit a lot of parlays plus money, so you did really well. Give me your final thoughts on the season and then the College World Series finals.
Yeah, I don't do units like you guys do. I did hit 58% of my plays from season into regional, super regionals, World Series. I did 18-5 in the World Series. Again, it's something I dove into last year and try to get a little better, which I did this year. I love it. I think, again, you're a super talent in it. I think Grissom is fantastic. I'm trying to get there myself, and I think I'm doing well with it. And again, I think with college baseball, if you saw some of the Twitter today, what was the TV audience? It was
3 point. So for Saturday, which was College World Series Game 1, it was short 2 million, like 2.02. Sunday, which I was at, was like 2.5. And then Monday, which was Game 3, was 3.5 million. It's the best numbers they've ever had, and it was a 48% jump from last year.
Yeah, so
huge numbers.
And again, we communicated a lot through the season with some of these teams. The midweek games are very tough.
Yes.
When you have like LSU that won the national championship and then they would lose.
They lose to Nichols.
Yeah, Nichols State or Tulane or something like that. And you're like, wow, like how is this possible? But it's hard. Like you have to understand they have top line guys and they throw some of the guys that aren't top line in those games. Yeah. And they get beat. It's baseball. If you ever played baseball, you can get beat. It's a hard sport not to always win.
Well, we also talked about, especially midweek and even some of the weekend games, if you play some of the mid-majors, it's a sport where you have to lay money. Like you're not going to get great lines every week because they don't know how to count, lines, and you have to lay the juice because it just is what it is. There's a limited slate that DraftKings, or Barstool Sports or FanDuel or any other platform will give you. You're confined to those games. If you want $1 on these games, you sometimes have to lay it.
Yeah.
But there's money to be made.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, even if you take Paul Skeens minus 230, I'll take $230 risk to win 100 with Paul Skeens. I mean, we laugh. We call it Paul Skeens Day, Rhett Lauder Day. It was like a weekly thing. Mm-hmm. But they win you a lot of money. So that's one thing I hope people kind of took out of this season as we talked about on this show, as Kristen and I talked about, on Twitter. And, it was a great season. I hope we continue to grow it. I know Jason was kind of getting into it. I know Matt got into it. We want everybody to grow into it, especially you guys, because we're always texting each other. I'd like to hear your thoughts kind of as somebody, who's slowly getting into it now that, we've done this show, and now you're kind of invested.
Well, the problem with the World Series is they played it backwards. Like, if Game 1 would have been Game 3, it would have been, like, the greatest thing of all time. That game was phenomenal. it was one of those deals. I watched every single inning of it. Like, I came into it probably at the 4th inning and got hooked, and just was
that
right
hurt.
there with it.
That hurt.
You're a professional, Q. You can handle it, though.
When Pearson caught that ball on Wyatt Langford, I mean, just absolute Superman, just last, like, mid-stride jump. I kind of deeply knew that it was LSU's time. I mean, if that ball's 6 inches higher, Florida wins the national title. But it was cool to, obviously, from a betting perspective, win a lot of money, but then also kind of have my team win me money this year as well as getting to see them. So that was pretty cool.
No.
But yeah, no, that play, I jumped, I screamed. I was like, oh. Like,
I thought it was it. I mean, off the bat.
And that's funny, Jason, because I said off air to Q, I said that first game was one of the best, one of the best games I ever watched. It could be Major League 2, call it.
Two powerhouse teams.
It didn't matter. And you know, I said this doing one of the other pods. I said, you know, I predicted LSU Florida in the national championship, so I looked very good when it started. But what a great tournament, man. I mean, you go in, TCU came in playing, they weren't a great team. They got hot at the end, and then they really sparked. Then you got Oral Roberts, and again, with
some walk-offs.
And again, a guy that I grew up in my hometown, and I kind of know, my family knows, and he's the head coach. So then you kind of were into, like, watching them, and Jason trying to still get him to Penn State.
Can't get him.
Can't get him.
Turned it down.
Yeah, he turned it down.
Well,
nice work, Smitty. You can't get him home.
Well,
Penn State's struggling. They just had 2 coaches turn them down again today.
But
it's going to take a little more.
But again, Florida, great team. Wake Forest, I mean, all year, could hit, could pitch. I mean, just a great, and like you said, that first game was amazing. The last 2 kind of, I mean, everything
Record
was
setting.
under, and then those last 2 went over. And you wish it would have been closer, but
there was like 7 College World Series records broken in on Sunday and Monday.
Yeah, and
that's crazy.
And like they said, you know, you guys, everyone was kind of joking about, like, all the mainstream, like, oh, this is Dylan Cruz, and they knew.
Oh, they're
Dylan
10-minute
Cruz.
experts.
Yeah, they have no clue. But like people that follow it, like you guys do, and everything, and even myself. But you had the superstars in it. You had Cruz, Skeens, Langford. You had the guys that should be Pittsburgh Pirates, if you're listening, one of the top picks in the draft. One of those guys, Max Clark. Nothing against you if you're watching me in Indiana tonight. Nothing against you. You might be good, but you should not be the top pick.
No, I agree. I mean, it's kind of a shame that we didn't get to see Paul Skeens in the College World Series. Obviously, the rule was in place to protect his arm, which we are all for. But that extra game that LSU lost, I mean, that kind of took him out because he had to go against. Now, we did see number 1 pitcher, number 2 pitcher absolutely duel out. Rhett Lauder and Paul Skeens, one of the greatest pitching performance. 0-0 into the 11th again. Now, they obviously didn't pitch that late. Skeens pitched 8. Lauder pitched like 7 1/3. Both 0-run ball was incredible. So we did get to see that matchup, but it would have been cool to see Paul Skeens in the College World Series finals. We thought maybe if it was a close game, he was going to come in. I'm glad Jay Johnson did the right thing and didn't throw him when they were up 13 runs. That would have been appalling. So I'm glad he didn't make that decision. But it's probably one of the most powerful College World Series finals we ever saw. You had Josh Hartle, Rhett Lauder, Brock Wilken, Jack Laglianone. You mentioned Langford, Cruz, Skeens. Like, it was just so many superstars that we got to see. We saw a 48-game hit streak from Jonah Hill, which was incredible. I don't remember a College World Series this great and this close in a very long time outside of those last 2 games. But I will say, in those last 2 games, at least you got to see record-setting ball. I mean, Florida broke 5 or 6 in the game 2, and then LSU broke the hits record for a single game. So while they were blowouts, they weren't as great. You did get to kind of say, well, I did get to see a piece of history, so that was cool.
I got sold on the Rivera kid at short.
Dude, he's a stud.
I really like
his
him.
glove is so good.
Yeah, I really like him, too.
I mean, I think he's potentially pushed himself up into a top 2.
You know what I was going to say if I hosted tonight? The mayor of Omaha. Like, did you buy a house out there?
No,
Jess doesn't know about?
It was bad. We actually got approval to go to the last game, and we just couldn't make the flights work. It was last minute.
Oh, you got approval?
Yeah, but we couldn't swing it. The planes, dude, it was $1,300 one way.
Well, I'm going to say, because
I should have just called Jeff.
We want to take a quick break.
Expense.
So the funny thing, I'm sitting with old man in the garage, and we had a little side bet. about if you were going to try to like stay out there. And he's like, he's staying out there. And I said, okay, I'm going to say he has to come back. I'm going to put the pressure on Jess. And Jess is a wonderful wife, so I'm not trying to be on air going, man, this girl, like, you better. She let the guy go out there twice in like a week span. So, and I said, I don't know. I think he's going to come back. And then I said, and then you were like, nope, I'm coming back. And
well, we had 2 chances. Yeah,
I'll mark it down as you won the bet. And I said, nah, I guarantee if he comes back on text message here and say that I really worked on this, and you did, you tried. Yeah, I tried. That would have been Sunday night. I didn't get approval that night, but we were looking up flights. They were like $1,300 one way. Goodness gracious! And then we'll come back Monday, but we're at the airport. LaGuardia gets canceled for hail and things like that. Then they're talking about canceling or delaying our flight, 6 hours to try to let the weather pass that we actually ended up never getting. So I call her and I'm like, hey, long story short, we'd be flying mid-game. I'm not missing this game. And she's like, okay, we'll just stay. And so we tried to swing it, and then, we knew the flight. We couldn't exchange the flights. They were going to hopefully cancel our flight and then push us to the next day at the same time slot. It was kind of what they were trying to work with us. And then the captain came back and said, no, we think we can. It's like that movie Steve Martin, John Candy did, that trains, planes, automobiles. I want to see Q.
But I guess the captain said, hey, we can beat the flight, the weather. I want to see
you in the back of a truck or something with like a little TV watching them bouncing around.
Home Alone, we got that band singing in the back of a Ryder truck. No, I mean, listen, maybe it was for the best. It would have sucked to see a blowout like that. I would have rather seen a close loss than that.
We might have seen Q up in the stands like in a fist fight with somebody. So hey, that's Q.
I'm just running the field. But I'll be back next year. Hopefully my Gators are back. I know we got to go to commercial break here, but it was a wonderful experience, and it's something I encourage. It's expensive.
It's fun.
Plan out, and I encourage everybody to make it.
I caught one game out there, and it's worth it if you like college baseball or just baseball generally. Try to go out there and do it.
All right, we're getting ready to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk Rocket Mortgage Golf Talk with Smitty and Jason, and then we'll end it with kind of an intro into what do the next few months hold for the show.
This is your wallet. It tells a story, who you are, what you keep close, what you love. But it also tells how important are your finances, how you look after your money. But what if your wallet was crafted differently? It would consist of a protective case that will keep your cards fastened and your banknotes joined under a cash strap. Its slim design would help you hide it in the most challenging situations. All your cards would be easy to reach and kept compact inside the case. Ridge Wallet helps you keep control of your belongings. Choose protection in a modern design from Ridge Wallet.
They say fortune is fickle. Wrong. I just know what I like! And it ain't settling for 3. Because life's a gamble. Name is guaranteed. Gamble. Evil. Gutting it for glory. Gamble. Love. Gamble. So let's make it interesting. I put $1 million in up to 5 DraftKings Sportsbook accounts.
Lay it all on tonight's game or kiss it goodbye.
Hello, fortune.
Now back to putting money in your pocket with the Notebook Wagering Show on WSN.
Hey, we are back here Wednesday night live from the Salisbury Center, fueled by Monster Energy. So we got the Rocket Mortgage Classic, the Travelers last week. I'm going to shout out. We don't have Maddie here tonight. Maddie's one of the big golf guys on the show. I did hit 2 on my ticket last week. Brian Harmon, my best bet that I gave out, top 20 was a big winner. And I did hit Ricky Fowler, not at a great number, but a winner's a winner, and that's all I care about. The big thing is, man, I got to get somebody winning these tournaments. I had Colin Morikawa. I think Matt did. I know he had him on his, ticket or whatever he had, and He played great the second day. Man, the first day was so bad. But here we go. We're at the Rocket Mortgage Classic. We're at the Detroit Golf Club. It's a par 72, 7,370 yards. It's a Donald Ross design. It's one of the flattest courses on tour. It could play soft. I did see some videos. They had some nice storm damage up there on Sunday. A couple of trees were laying around the course and everything. Maybe they'll just keep it there and it's like a putt-putt tournament, and that'd be fun. Scores are going to be high, everybody. Tony Finau last year won this. It was minus 26. So this is just over the last couple years. Let me throw this out. Minus 26, minus 18, minus 23, minus 25. So... And I think Finau, I saw it today that Tony came out and said, I would not be shocked someone's going to be in the minus 30 range to win this week. So
you can't put professional golfers on a flat course like that.
So what are you looking for here? Well, what I looked at and listening, and I got a couple names. I have not finalized anything yet. I will tonight, like I usually do. 2 weeks ago,
You'll find your plays on Twitter, though, right?
Yeah. Of course. I had my card ready, but I'm just not ready yet here, and maybe Jason can jump in some names here, but you need some bombers. The bombers off the tee is going to be key in here, and you need the guys that can putt. This is going to be a birdie fest. So, if you're looking at some stats here, some guys that can really drain the putts here, you might be good. So, Jason, I know you studied a little bit here. I'll throw some names out. Let's see if we can maybe hit on some names here. What do you have for the Rocket Mortgage Classic?
Well, I'm a guy who's been a little out of favor, but he's actually been playing better than people think. I actually got Justin Thomas here playing his first time at the Rocket Mortgage. He kind of needs to get right. It's just kind of a lot of people thought these last couple majors were set up for him, and he did not play well. But I got him at 16-1. I kind of like that. If you look around, there's certain books that are offering actually rebates if your guy finishes in the top 10 if you picked him to win. So that's a nice little benefit there.
Oh, nice.
And Chris Kirk, another guy, not the greatest golfer in the world, played well here, and I got him at a top 20 plus 180. And then a guy whose name will come up a lot the rest of the summer, Ludwig Aberg, NCAA champion. I don't know if you've heard of it. NCAA kind of has a nice little cross-pollination thing going with the PGA Tour where guys can come right on the tour and keep playing. Don't have to go earn a Q card like they had to in the past. He's a guy, he's made both cuts that he's played in so far. And he's actually a guy who bombs the ball off the tee, but he hasn't really gained any strokes off the tee yet. He's actually played better in the secondary parts of his game. So if those are playing pretty well, he's going to like this course. It's wide open. There's no defenses. So those are probably my top 3 bets. I got a little on JJ Spawn for a top 20, Cam Davis for a top 20, and Thomas Dietrich is a guy who, not a big name, but a guy who really likes it when the conditions get easy. Plays really well when he does. So I've got him for a top 20 and a top 30. So I think you have to. This is going to be a wide open run. You got some really big names here in Detroit that you usually don't see, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to take it over just because they're not used to these birdie fests.
They're there because they're forced.
They're forced, and it's a good rule by the PGA to rotate.
Oh, I agree.
Every tournament every 3 years because you want these cities to be able to see these guys up close and just do the media and everything. So, but yeah, these guys, they don't need this tournament. They're probably working on some things. This is getting to the part of the season where you get those guys down in the 150s and 130s. These guys need these tournaments. They need those points. They want to make that 125 to make sure they're on the tour for next year. So I'm looking at that. I think Dietrich and Spawn are definitely guys who fit that category.
Yeah, let me just jump in there. So I wrote a couple names down. JJ Spawn last year, in the last 4 years in this tournament, 8th, 32nd, 30th, 13th. So he's one I kind of look down there just to kind of, it's what I did with Harmon.
He's going to be in play.
It's what I did with Harmon last week. Harmon was just really good at that course. If you looked at his 4 years, he was always there, and that's why. Then I had decent numbers at a top 20, and then I laid it down as my best bet and just threw a little bit more on it, and it came. And he tied for second. Yeah. So I looked like a genius, which is always nice. I just want to jump another one that.
Well, I see you got a couple. Just read off. They're not obviously locked in, but it's your gut that you're looking at.
No, it's just a couple things. I just want to bounce because he said Christian Kirk. Kirk also was another one, 17th, 12th, 21st, and then did not play in 2019. So that's another one. He's not in the greatest form right now, but, with Jason throwing that down, and I've seen from some other people, that's not a bad play maybe to jump on here. And I'm keeping him on my card, which, again, I'll put it out. So Spawn, Merritt, Troy Merritt is another one, 14th last year, 2nd, 8th, 100th. So there's another one. Now, this one's a little deeper than it has been. So with some names on this. I'm going to probably really butcher this name because that's what I usually do. But Christian, is it Bezenhout? Okay, thank you. Okay, close enough. Close enough. One of the better putters on the greens this week. So keep an eye on him. I really like him. Matsuyama is not a bad one to look at. I don't have any numbers in front of me, but he's another name I like. Morikawa is in this, and I hate to say this. I usually like sometimes to go right back to it. He didn't play well on Thursday and then came back and shot fantastic on Friday and just didn't make the cut. Now, could he do something here? Maybe. I got to look at the numbers on that, but he's another one. I like the Justin Thomas angle that Jason played. He's one that is just, his game has completely disappeared. Last week, he played well. Mm-hmm. So, this could be a tournament to get things back. Like, good week, let's get the momentum and come right back. So I like that too. So I like, and then what is it? Dentry or what was that guy's name? You said Dietrich. Yeah. I played him before in a couple tournaments. I kind of like that angle too. Jason, I think you had some really good names that you threw out there. Again, I think Matsuyama, Morikawa is not a bad one. I do like the Kirk, and I do like the Spawn. Tony Finau, again, could you come back? He won this last year. I don't know if the number's great in that to really take.
It's hard to go back to back.
It is. So you could maybe look at that. But I will absolutely post my plays here by tonight on Twitter. And I'll probably do, winner, top 5, top 10. And maybe try to hit 2. Ricky Fowler's in this. Ricky Fowler's another one right now that's on fire. He's played every tournament, and he's a top 20 machine. Now, you're not going to get probably great odds on him at top 20. Maybe if Jason's on the odds right now, you can throw his odds out on a 20 or a top 10. But
you're getting a 12-1. I just, I like Ricky Fowler, but he's not a 12-1 player.
No, I don't like that either.
And he's played every tournament because he's kind of had to. Yeah. Eventually, it takes a toll. And so I think, he's played a lot of weeks. Finau's on his third straight week. He's not a guy who plays a lot of consecutive weeks either. So you can definitely see that be a factor.
Yeah. I like Morikawa. I like Matsuyama. And then that Jason Christian, pronounce it again for me. Bezuidenhout. I like him. Good putter on the greens. I like him. So I'm probably going to for sure have him on my card.
I got nothing.
I like it.
I'm not a golf guy. You guys. I like playing it, but I'm not.
How about Max? You always do Max Homa. Max Homa's in this tournament.
Yeah, but he's killing it. He's struggling this year. He's killing me. I've taken him at 3 or 4 times, and he hasn't even hit top 10 for me. So
yeah, he's not.
I'm just gonna hang off.
He's not in great form right now. But you never know. Top 10, top 20, if you can get a couple numbers.
Yeah.
He's got 2 top 30s here the last 2 years, but
that doesn't help me when I'm betting top 10.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
good participation,
bud.
For
this kind of course, with the field that's usually there, you expect him to do a little better than that.
Absolutely. Blindly, just to keep with the Florida theme this week, Billy Horschel does really well in these kind of smaller tournaments. I don't even know what his number is.
I think that's the thing Hugh should do the rest of his life. It's just
take everything Florida.
It has to be a Florida connection. If that has nothing,
even if they're being recruited, it counts.
Nothing. I can't wait for football.
I am getting ready to talk about Florida. I'm getting ready to bring them up.
Okay, go for it.
Are you guys done with your little golf talk?
I'm done with the golf talk.
All right.
Okay, check me out on Twitter. I'm going to post some winners again this weekend.
We're going to kind of break down what we're going to do. So for those followers that have listened to us over the past 2 years, kind of when we started this thing, late July, early August, we start breaking down conferences. And we're going to do them a little different this year. We're not going to break down every single team like how we did 2-hour shows. We're going to kind of condense it a little bit. Talk about the conference, maybe some teams you like that you feel like you're going to play a future with, and then kind of move on because we want to cover 5 or 6 different conferences. Then we're going to get into games. I mean, week 0 is the last week of August. So then we're going to break down games each week. Follow our Twitters. They're going to be all over Twitter, our plays. We've got Maction halfway through the year Wednesdays, so that's going to be a live show.
That's Tuesday. Tuesday, Wednesday.
I'm sorry. Yep. And then Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It's going to be a little hard because you just don't know who's playing and things like that in terms of injuries. So we're going to talk about teams, what we expect, and then obviously post our plays on Twitter, what our official lines are for Saturday and things like that. So that's kind of how that's going to work. NFL, you can kind of cover that a little later in August, I think, outside of maybe a little spring training news or training camp news. Then we're going to break down, similar things each week's game. So that's kind of what we're leaning into for the next several months, up until we get to the point of college basketball. I think that's pretty down and dirty. I don't think I miss anything. While we're talking kind of preseason of college football, that's where our future talk's going to be. Heisman, props, things like that.
I think we'll try to bring on, we've brought on before, if you are just tuning in with us, we've brought on the South Carolina great Steve Tannehill's a good friend of the show.
Absolutely, a little SEC show there.
Multiple times with us. We'll be reaching out to him.
We'll try to bring on Tim Murray. I know he's been on with us for football.
Yeah, we'll try to bring some people on. Will Hill's another good friend that we'll try to bring on and really try to crack it out. And we'll try to come out and we're going to try to each week break down maybe 4 or 5
top 25 games and then maybe some ones that we like.
Yeah, if we have an under the radar kind of play, if Jason has 2-3 plays, throw them out really quick for you and stuff and try to win you some money. And that's what we're trying to do here.
Well, I'm going to win you money now because I already have a couple bets.
Oh, okay, let's go.
I'm going to give this full credit to Tim Murray. He had somebody on his show, and for the life of me, I can't remember who it is. They said hammer opening week Cal -7 because they're playing North Texas. I believe Cal has a transfer quarterback coming in. If I remember that correctly, I have to look onto it, but I took it. Tim is all over it.
I have not. I've broken down so far a little bit the Big 12 and the Big 10.
Central Florida, Big 12. Lay that future.
There's some breaking down the Big 12.
It's gonna be different this year.
You're reading stuff and you're looking at BYU.
I know.
Central Florida.
It's different.
Who else is in that? There's another.
Somebody else just came over. Cincinnati. That's who it was.
Really good one.
So I'm going to give you, so I laid -7 with Cal. I've already got it. But then on DraftKings, they have alternate wins. And I actually like this a lot because you got to lay the money and you got to sit on it for 4 months. But I feel very confident. Okay, so this is strictly my team. So over-under is 5.5 for Florida. I think their ceiling is 7 wins. When I go through the schedule, I counted 6. Realistically, I think it's going to be a 6-6 or a 7-5 season. You can win money if you take 6 wins exactly at +320, 7 wins at 475, and 8 wins at +900. So if they land on 6, you win $100. They win on 7, I think it's $175. If they hit 8, you win $250. I'll take that profit because that's exactly where the the bookmakers are telling you where it's going to land. And then what you do is if they're 5 and 6 heading into the Florida State game, if they win, you're going to win money. But what you do is you can hedge and just hammer Florida State in that game, and then you win money. I think I just gave you a winning pick. I mean, there's 4 wins there.
I just hope they play well, so I don't have to deal with you.
I'll tell you what,
and everything.
They're not. They are making strides. There has been talk about just everything. There was a lot of problems under Dan Mullen, and they're starting to come out. A lot of attitudes. We saw that when they kick off 40 dudes off the team last year. Some of them were starters. Some of them were solid starters. It's coming out. It was a bad, almost Urban Meyer-like system. The 06-08. I mean, there were some dogs on that team, but they were also some criminals.
They won.
They won the games, but they, bad attitudes, things like that. So give Billy some time. Next year, 24 schedule though, gauntlet. I think the over/under should be 2.5.
No, and I think
they play so bad.
And I think it will be a lot of fun because everyone on this show is very opinionated. They have their thoughts on it, and again, I think with the show, with having 4 people on here,
different opinions.
We take different opinions. We're on opposite sides of some games, so I mean, you can really play fade or go with who you think and or do your own thing. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and we really enjoy doing football. It should be fun.
So those are 4 plays I've locked in already. I locked in the Cal -7. I think it was -110. I locked in the 6 wins at 375, Florida. I locked in 7 wins at 475 and 8 wins at 900.
Jace, I mean, I'll go real quick. I have nothing yet in call. Like I said, I just started.
No, this was just overview. I just wanted to get this out.
I love it. I'm going to just
I have a self-imposed July 1st start date.
Okay, well, I got one NFL play, and I'll just throw it out right now. And I put it out on Twitter, and I just want to. I took the New England Patriots to win that division. Plus
750.
750.
So what was your line on that one? What was your line of thinking to grab them? Because
okay, so real quick, I think they could be in for Hopkins. I hope they get Hopkins. I know they signed a wide receiver today. Juju again is on that team, and I'm not saying Juju's a star. I think Jones is going to come back. And you look at that and you can go, Miami's very talented. The problem with Miami that scares me is the quarterback play. I'm not high on him to begin with. I've said that over the last couple of years. And I worry about the concussion issue again. The Jets are going to get all the love, and the Jets have a really good team. And I do like Aaron Rodgers. But that could, in that media, could it go bad? It could. With that, Buffalo, I think, has some problems. I think you saw it at the end of the year. I think you saw that at the end of the. And listen,
they have some locker room issues now. With Allen and Diggs doesn't want to be there.
I look at this and I go, again, I think the coach is great. I think Jones comes back, and you don't have a defensive coordinator running the offense this year. You have Bill O'Brien, and I think Bill O'Brien will come in and have a better offense. So why they were the worst odds in the division, and I think they can. I think they can hang around. So why not?
So if you were to try to win money, if you were to outside of the Patriots, who would be the next team you take to win that division?
Well, I mean, again, I'd like to look at what's.
I'll give you the odds.
Okay, go.
Okay, so Bills are plus 120.
I'm not taking the Bills.
No, neither am I. The Jets are plus 270. The Dolphins are plus 300. If you you've already laid the Patriots.
I laid the Patriots.
So I think it's worth laying either the Dolphins or the Jets.
Oh, absolutely.
And guarantee yourself guarantee a profit.
I was going to say again, and this is nothing because I know you're in Miami. And
it's concussion issues.
That scares me.
If he's healthy, they can win that division easily.
Absolutely.
But he couldn't last year.
I don't know
if he couldn't in college.
I'll roll the dice because the Jets had a really good team last year and they had no quarterback. And now you're getting, and still, in my opinion, a really good quarterback.
It's worth laying then. I think so. They got a really good team, young team.
I really firmly believe that.
Put that in right now.
New England.
Put that in.
I mean, go New England every.
All right.
New England.
Jason, what's your kind of thoughts as just college football, NFL as a whole? Like, what's your strategy going in?
Oh, geez, strategy going in.
If you don't have it, it's not a deal.
You have to look at strength of schedule. Whatever you hear from a radio host or anybody else, throw out the window.
I agree.
They always use last year's record, and like these teams turn over so much that it doesn't make any sense. And you hear all this big drama about it. You just look at the actual schedule itself. And
but anybody can beat anybody either.
Truly, and like especially when teams go on the road against bad teams, that's a total trap. And we make a lot of money on those games because of that. You know, especially late in the season when injuries start to pile up and teams don't have things to play for.
Yep.
But no, I think Smitty's right on it. Taking in conferences or divisions, especially taking the big number probably works out more than people think it does. Especially when it's like a toss up here, and I think the AFC East is more of a toss up. Like the Bills got rid of all their coaches. Like I think
it's going to be
a
good division.
The OC and the head coach and everybody else is new, and it's like that's a big change. And that's a team that kind of came up together. So. The Dolphins, year 2, so we'll see how that kind of goes. That's a little scary when you have a first-year coach, too, is like how you handle that offseason the first time.
They're trying to shore up the defense as well.
And I think, back to I think Hopkins is a good play. And then Cook is another one. And I don't think Cook's a game changer.
Cook is going to end up in Miami or New York.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
I think. And there was rumors with New England, too. And I don't think New England really needs to go get him. I think the running backs are okay.
Well, they're not going to spend the money.
And
and running back now.
And I just think if you've been following the guys and myself, you know my feelings on running backs and everything like that. I mean, people right away, the Steelers need him. I'm like, are you kidding me?
They have a good running back.
Why do we have it? Why do we get Harris in the first round? Harris was fine. So I don't think you need that. No, I think that looking at that, and I don't want to sound like a homer, and I'm not diving into this, but if you look at that division with the Steelers too, they have great numbers too. Well, the Steelers,
I think they're going to be a lot better.
Steelers were playing maybe the best football in the AFC by the end of the year. I mean, maybe close, and everyone's like Baltimore, and Baltimore's going to change now. Jackson's going to throw the ball all the time. Okay, well, I got to see that.
Well, they haven't since he's been there, so.
And again,
I see it.
Since he's good, and Cleveland, they keep going, well, Cleveland added this and this. All right, well, I got to see Watson. Now, again, you got Watson over the summer that he can participate and do things, so that's a possibility.
Yeah, he's not coming in late.
So that's the thing, but man, you look at the numbers, the Steelers have great odds.
I agree.
Well, why wouldn't you? You would think Kenny Pickett's going to improve. They upgraded the offensive line.
I thought he improved last year.
Which wasn't bad.
No.
They added Robinson at a slot receiver, a veteran guy. They added some people on defense. I don't think the Steelers are way off. And I don't want to sound like a homer. By week 3, I might be in here saying they're horrible and I hate them. And I can't wait for Pirate baseball. Probably. So, I mean, so diving in really quick, because I know we got to go here and we're diving into football here. Looking at the Big Ten really quick. This is one of the biggest interesting stories. I can't wait to dive into this and because what do you think of Wisconsin football?
I think they're going to be maybe not this year, but next year they're going to be really good.
Okay, but what do you think of when you hear them? What do they always do on offense?
Well, they always run, but they're not going to run anymore.
They're not running anymore. They're bringing
Fickle's already said he's coming in.
They're bringing an air raid.
Yeah.
I'm doing some research on that. They're bringing the offensive coordinator from North Carolina in there, and they want to throw the ball. They have a fantastic running back. It's like now, well, how's he going to adjust to this?
Well, I think it makes him more dangerous. Maybe. Because you have a good blocking.
More pro style.
Yeah, maybe pro. That's a good point.
They're going to be harder. You're not going to be able to, stay in the box. They're going to test you.
I don't think it's a good plan, though, long term. I don't know if that brand's strong enough to be able to survive if they have a couple down years while they transition this. Because the one thing, their lines have been great. Yeah. When they've gotten behind in games, they've looked very vulnerable, especially when it got speed rushers on the front with the top of that league. They're going to see that every down now. I think you're going away from a strength. You had an identity, and everybody wants to get away from that. Maybe it's hard to recruit or hard to coach that, but I'll tell you what, when you play Wisconsin, you knew what you were in for, and now you're trying to do what everybody else is doing. I don't think you can recruit athletes to the level of Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, even Michigan State to some extent, right?
See, I think
you're always going to be behind the 8 ball on that. So I just don't. Doesn't make sense to me.
I like Fickle to do it because of his name and what he did at Cincinnati,
He's a good coach.
What he did at Ohio State, as a coordinator. I think his ability to say, "I can win games. I took Tennessee to the Final Four. We can do this."
Well,
because I think it's the same thing with Iowa. You know what's going to happen. They're throwing the ball to the tight end. They're running a 2 tight end system. They're going to run. And that's why they always go 8-4, 9-3.
Show, so I'm not But Iowa's going to be a little bit more interesting too with Cade McNamara, the old Michigan quarterback, is there. He actually can throw the ball a little bit. So can they score a little bit more point? I can't wait to go into college football here.
Well, that was a little teaser. Mike there he goes.
There we go.
Little teaser into it.
Oh, we'll dive into
the full shows are going to be incredible. Our Twitter's going to be incredible. Have discussions. I don't know. Maybe we'll get into Twitter Spaces.
Absolutely.
That's a new area we can kind of get into and talk, day of what we think, maybe some updated news. But that was a teaser with Jason, myself, and Smitty to kind of what's to come with college football and NFL. Gave you a couple plays that I've already locked in. Smitty's already locked in one. Jason will lock in one on July 1st. We just got to wait for that date. I got nothing
Cal's
else.
already up to 9.5.
I believe that's
Hammer it. They're playing North Texas.
Can I just say, I think that's Bobby Bonilla Day, but maybe that's Jason Kaminsky's drop
JKam Day.
College football play.
He gets a contract. I get a future.
Jason's going to take over Bobby Bonilla Day. Oh, my goodness.
All right. I got nothing else. Like I said, got your MLB plays. Hopefully you got them in. Covered a couple Rocket Mortgage names. Little teaser intro into college football and NFL. We'll start breaking these down as we get closer to the seasons. As we always say to end the show, bang your bookies.
Thanks for listening to the Notebook Wagering Podcast. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any episodes, and be sure to follow @Notebook Wagering. Until next time.